Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
Yay!
That's how you are?
Yes.
I'm yay. All right.
Instead of using words,
You're going to just...
I'm just going to demonstrate how I am.
You're going to start talking like a dolphin?
Yeah. Wait, how are you? That was a good dolphin, by the way.
I've practiced.
Have you? Oh.
I don't have a lot going on.
Okay. Oh, boy.
No, I'm joking.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Actually, you have a lot going on, which is why we had to sort of fit this whole thing in, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes. So it's time is of the essence, Joe.
It is.
Here we go.
It is. So what are we talking about today, Janet?
We're doing a myth buster.
Okay, I'm glad you said it and I don't have to.
I know. Well, you know what?
It's a hard word to say.
I think that's probably why we haven't been doing them. We haven't done one in a long time.
Myth buster.
Myth buster.
Yes.
I like to say it actually with a lisp.
I had a job one time in a software company, and I frequently had to say statistically significant.
I think you've said this before, but okay.
Okay.
It's a tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister.
All right.
Mythbuster is a tongue.
Yes.
So what's the myth we're busting?
The myth is if you think you're too old to start your entrepreneurial journey, I have one thing to say to you. That's nonsense.
That's nonsense.
Yes, we have a lot of information here today about our age group and how it's such a big percentage of entrepreneurs in our age group and all the reasons why it's actually a good time to start something and that you're not too old. So that's the myth.
We're not too old. I do want to point out that a listener suggested this topic for us and sent us an article from the Wall Street Journal.
How lovely of them. Let's shout out to our listener.
Yes.
Do they have a name?
Anthony.
Anthony, thank you, Anthony. This is a great topic. It was actually fun to research, right, Joe?
It was. Jenna's laughing because
Joe does the research. I admit it. But I do read the information. I mean, let's be clear here. So,
I'm making air quotes. Read, yeah.
I do come up with a lot of the topics, Joe.
You come up with most of the topics. I've always said that.
Also, a lot of the guest speakers.
That's true.
So, I want to get some credit here in front of everyone. Please. No,
okay.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Send a comment saying how much you appreciate Janet's contribution to the 60 Plus podcast.
No, don't bother. So
she'd just love it if you did.
Oh, of course. I want to feel the love. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention, which is, sort of inspirational, I think, when you think about some of the entrepreneurs who started their business in their 60s, one of them, and I didn't know this, was Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
He founded Kentucky Fried Chicken at the age of 62.
There's a long story about that. And he kind of went around, I think it might have been in Canada. I'm not sure of that. But he drove around trying to sell Kentucky Fried Chicken franchises to people.
Well, he was successful, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a colonel. He just gave himself that honorific.
Well, maybe that's what was his nickname. His name is
he gave it to himself.
Colonel Harland Sanders.
Yes.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. He must be from Kentucky.
I don't know. He might be.
I would hope so.
Well, you'd hope he'd be a colonel too, but he wasn't.
Okay. Well, whatever. It worked.
It does.
And he started it when he was 62. And that is something to marvel.
So I did know that for reasons unrelated to this episode.
Okay.
But Charles Flint founded the company that eventually became IBM when he was 61 years old.
I know, that's kind of wacky.
Pretty impressive.
Because that was a huge company.
Well, it became a huge company. It started with like some kind of an adding machine or...
Well, yeah, it was International Business Machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was what the acronym stands. It's sort of like Apple, right? They started in a garage, So this is the fun thing about entrepreneurship is that it can grow.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we wanted to cover today was, the reasons why this actually is a good time, that you're not too old. And one of the reasons is experience. right? You have all these years of experience and all these life lessons, and that is something that can be leveraged,
It
right?
can be.
Yeah.
It can be. Before we get into that, though,
Yes.
can I
Okay.
say I did read a report, and I think a lot of people would think entrepreneurs that start their businesses
Later in life.
later in life do so out of necessity. Either they were laid off or financial strength. It's not the case at all. I did read a report that 88% of the entrepreneurs that we're talking about do it just because they want to.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine too, and you may have had this experience. I know I've had that you've had these things that you've wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
all your life and you've
Mm-hmm.
had ideas and for one reason or another you haven't been able to
You have other
implement.
responsibilities.
Yeah,
That,
exactly. And we're going to talk about that
mm-hmm.
too
Okay.
today. But now is the time, right? It's like, if not now, when? So 60 plus, 70 plus, there's time. It's not too late. So let's do all those things that we always dreamt of doing.
And if you need some encouragement, and this applies to 50-plus-year-old people, but they're twice as likely to succeed in starting a business than a 30-year-old is.
That's crazy too, right? Yeah, that was very similar to a statistic I read about they're more successful than 20-somethings,
Sure.
the 60 plus audience.
So more like the IBMs and less like the Apples. Oh, Apple did okay.
Yeah. Just okay.
It's okay.
Over a $1 trillion company, but
Yeah.
just okay.
Yeah.
So, back to the sort of the why, the rationale as to why this is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing they mentioned here is you know what you really want, right?
Yes.
You know what makes you happy. You know how you want to spend your time. You know what your passions are, and you are building, purpose around those things. And so it's a great time to sort of align what you want to do entrepreneurially with what you care about. And that makes it a huge success factor.
Sure.
Right. So that's cool.
You've got a network built.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah.
You've
had your whole life, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's something that I think younger people struggle with.
Right.
In trying to build out a business is.
And why we always try to tell them, hey, get out there,
build network.
Talk to people, even if you're standing in the line in Starbucks,
Mm-hmm.
Have a conversation. You never know when interaction is going to lead to something, right?
Sure.
So I don't go to Starbucks anymore, but if I did. So yeah, I mean that's a great asset, right? And
a network is huge,
right? And don't hesitate to use it. Again, if not now, when?
Say that.
Right? We might think, oh, I don't want to bother them. Oh, I don't want to be too pushy. Oh, I don't want to. No, it's okay. People want to help people, especially if they know you and they like you and they, want you to succeed.
This is something that I suffer from. I don't want to
ask
reach
for
back
help
to my network.
Yeah.
And when somebody kind of leaks out that I'm trying to do something, the network reaches out to me and says, hey,
why didn't you come?
Exactly.
Let me help you.
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, that's changing the script in your head,
Mm-hmm.
right? The reasons why versus the reasons not to. We kind of make these things up, right? So I always say, like, if you're going to make up stuff in your head, make it towards the positive, not the negative.
Sure.
So yeah, your network wants to help you. They want you to be happy and successful.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing here they talk about is, you have learned from past mistakes and hopefully you're not going to make them again. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right? Like we don't keep on making the same mistake, falling in the same hole.
Mm-hmm.
So like for instance, if you've been in bad work environments or say you've had a bad boss or say like not what to do. Right? That you've been the recipient of that. You don't want to build a business that's like that, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And when you've worked for great companies who do it right, you model that. So I think that that's a really good, point that we and I always say, there's not mistakes, there's lessons in life.
Oh, there were mistakes.
Well, I don't like to look at them that way. You learn from your
Mm.
quote unquote mistakes, right?
And you correct and you adjust and
Yeah. So and when you're our age, you've gotten pretty good at that, right? Hopefully.
again, hopefully.
Yeah.
Another good reason to start is it keeps you energized.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about retirement, and
Mhm.
I have friends that are retiring, and it's not for everybody yet.
Right.
And if you're not ready to retire, starting a business can be really empowering and energizing because there's a lot going on and
Right.
it keeps your mind active, it keeps your body active, and
And you're building something.
and you are. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to ride off into the sunset here. You're like blazing that trail.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think it's great. And we know that an engaged mind is a healthy mind, right? Especially at our age, right? That cognitive health is really important. And when you're involved in something that you care about, that you have passion about, it is energizing and it should keep you going for a long, long time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the other thing to think about too is that, and it's funny, I was having this conversation with a young entrepreneur the other day, and they're like, oh yeah, people look at all these really successful entrepreneurs and think, wow, that was great. That was like overnight. And it's like, no, it wasn't
No,
overnight.
no.
Can take years and years. But the thing is you can start small, right? If you have an idea for a business, don't look, 10 years down the road and go, okay, yeah, how am I going to get there? Like, what's the next step?
Hmm.
And how can I love the example of like Etsy, right? So many like technology avenues now to start something that can grow and scale it up as it makes sense for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be a technology whiz.
No, you don't.
Um,
But
even something like I've been using ChatGPT
mhm.
and other kinds of AI tools more lately. It's not hard,
No.
and you can just kind of have a dialogue with it. It's really surprising. It's not perfect,
No.
but it's really surprising how you can get into a dialogue, and it will make you think of things that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of.
Right. Right. Well, and two, some of these tools to like, do a website, website builders are designed to be simple enough
Hmm.
that even a caveman can do it. No. Shout out to Geico. Um, you know, they the technology doesn't have to be so big. Social media, setting up social media, all of that we know how to do this on a personal level. You just take those tools and you direct it towards your business, right?
So I've mentioned that I worked in software on the business side. I'm not a technology guy. I was on the business side. The things that we had to do with technology, you needed to be a technologist in order to do it 25 years ago.
Right.
Um, Zoom, for instance, is a very powerful tool. We use it all the time.
Right.
And back in the day when I was in the software business, to have a video conference system,
Oh, tell me about it.
$100 per person
Oh,
per
yeah.
seat per month.
Yeah, I used to have to set those up globally. I mean, it was
It was
crazy.
crazy, and in the
It had all
hoops you
these
had to jump through.
bridges.
Hmm.
AT&T was the big player in that
Hmm.
space. It was just nuts.
And today, I don't know if I know anyone that hasn't had a Zoom meeting.
Right. Well,
In the
especially with the
with
pandemic,
the
right?
pandemic, it became a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all know how to use apps, and there's apps to manage your business as well. And, they're designed to be simple enough that, it doesn't have to be too complicated. So don't let that be a barrier to entry for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think the last thing, and I really love this idea, and I hopefully I live this idea to some degree, is you're setting an example, right?
Hmm.
If you pursue your dreams, you're showing all the people around you, your family members, your friends, your colleagues, that it isn't too late, and you can follow your passions and really inspire others around you. And I think that that's a cool thing.
Sure. Now, if we haven't convinced you yet, if this is something you're on the fence about, this is something that's really, really surprising to me. The age distribution of entrepreneurs, 34 and under is 5%, 6%. I can't read it.
Oh gosh.
It's 6%.
Okay.
35 to 54 years old, 43%. 55 and older, 51% of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
That's great. Yeah, so there's a lot of us out there, and there's certainly ways in which you can, network with other entrepreneurs, ways in which you can get started. And we were talking about other key factors for success, right? Influencing this decision. So we can look at these things as barriers, but when you look at the factors that you have to consider, we're actually in a really good place for this, which is maybe why that 51% statistic is so high. Like, one of the things you have to think about when you're starting a business is certainly your professional experience. Well, we got lots of that, right? Your family commitments. Now, they in many cases will, the kids are out of the house, whatever, unless you have grandchildren that you've committed to, you have, less of those commitments, less of your finances are going to, your family members, let's say, perhaps, and more to your dreams and what you want to do. Risk tolerance is another influencing factor to consider. And again, obviously we may be in a financial place where that risk is not as great as somebody who's starting on a shoestring, right? So, and to your point, you were talking about, technology, the digital literacy that we need may not be as much as we think, right? What are some other things?
I'm kind of stuck on technology for a second.
I know you are.
Well, that's
You're
me.
a techo guy.
I am. If I don't know how to do something, I ask AI.
Right.
And it tells me.
Right. Or you take the time to learn it, right? It was actually when we were doing the episode about what excites us, or I remember one of our friends said, I get excited when I learn a new technology platform, and I can do these things once I've learned it. So yeah.
The equipment that we use to produce the podcast here.
Yes.
We're going to be using it for something that we'll be announcing soon, I hope.
Yes.
That's different than normal. And I said, geez, how am I going to do that? I asked ChatGPT, how do I do that? And it told me.
Yeah.
And I went, oh yeah, makes perfect sense.
Good. I'm glad you figured that out.
It took me literally 3 minutes. That would have maybe.
I am very glad that you run the board. Quite frankly, let's just leave it at that.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't think I'm known for my technological skills.
She's not.
I'm just in marketing. So the other thing that we see here is, influencing your decisions, access to capital.
And that could be part of your network.
Yeah, that could be part of your network. Who wants to, fund you or who wants to be involved in your business, right? Industry knowledge, I think that goes along with professional experience. In theory, we should have quite a bit of that.
We should.
Depending on how you're starting your business.
And sometimes the knowledge that you have is what allows you to see the opportunity that you're pursuing.
Right.
So you may have been in an industry and there was this one thing that kind of drove you crazy because there wasn't a solution out there.
You can create it.
And I read a story about a couple of lawyers that had years in. Oh no, it was a lawyer and an actor, and had years of experience, and they started a consulting firm to teach lawyers how to be a little bit more dramatic in the courtroom, kind of like Perry Mason.
That's cool.
And it was this consulting, and I have been in courtrooms. I've seen lawyers, I'm making air quotes, perform in the courtroom. They're not good.
Not because you were on the stand or anything like that.
I have been on the stand, but I did practice law for a time.
Yeah.
And
might want to make that clarification. Why you were in the courtroom?
It wasn't a criminal. Well, no, I was on the jury for a criminal thing too, but no,
Yeah.
I wasn't charged with anything. If that's
Okay,
what
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
thank you. That's what I wanted you to
I've
clarify.
paid my debt to society. No, and lawyers are typically pretty bad
Yeah,
at kind of evoking emotion,
which is crazy, right? When you think about it, like it is a stage, right? That courtroom is a stage.
it is, but lawyers can be kind of dry.
Yeah.
If you hadn't noticed.
I wasn't going to say anything.
So never mind.
I would never say that about you.
But that's one of those things. He saw an opportunity. He had an actor friend, and they said, let's start teaching lawyers how to be better on that stage that is the courtroom.
Yeah, and that's probably a winning combo right there.
It is, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the other thing is where are you in your life? What is your life stage goals? I think at this point in our life, we're figuring out what do we want to do for the rest of our life. You come to a point, right? And this is the point where we're at a life stage where we're taking inventory. We're deciding how do we want the rest of our days to look, and it should be inspiring to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So less talk of health and more talk of wealth. No.
So
when I said less on health and more on wealth, I didn't mean just wealth in terms of dollars. I think wealth in terms of well-being, in terms of your happiness level, in terms of, what are you getting excited about when we just covered this last week, but what are you getting excited about when you wake up in the morning? And, managing your own business is, extremely layered, if you will, and can be very inspirational. So I say, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Anything else you want to say before we're done?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So that gets me excited is starting a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keying off last week's what gets me excited.
Exactly. I know we didn't say that, but yeah, for sure.
Sure. All right. Go out and start a business. If you've been
just like that.
Yeah.
Snap of the fingers.
I was just going to snap my fingers.
I did it for you, Joe.
Thank you. I like having other people do things for me. All right. So that's it for this week's episode of the 60 Plus Podcast. Go out and start your own business. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.